Hello, dear students. Very good morning. How are you doing? Are you studying at home a little bit at least in all the subjects? Especially, are you going through video watches for derivations frequently so that you will keep remember and it will be easy for you? Okay, fine. Till last class, we were discussing and we have understood about the symmetrical plate, curved symmetrical plate when it was moving, how the work done can be calculated and kinetic energy can be calculated, and hence efficiency of the jet. We have found out when moving symmetrical curved plate is mounted on the periphery of the wheel, we get the efficiency maximum is equal to 1, that is 100%. 100% मी सांगितलं होता. I had told this to you. Now we will go for curved plate when it is moving and at the same time it is unsymmetrical. Okay. In this case, first of all, we have to understand how the velocity triangles, inlet velocity triangle and outlet velocity triangles are constructed. That we have to see first. Okay. If we understand how the construction of inlet velocity and outlet velocity, it will be easy to understand for flat plate or curved plate, or in case of turbine, or even in case of centrifugal pumps, any type of turbines, it will be easier to understand, especially to solve the numerical problems. Velocity triangles, to draw velocity triangle at inlet and at outlet, without which no numerical problem can be solved. Is it clear? Now we will see. Plate is curved, jet striking tangentially, and unsymmetrical plate. Let a jet strike tangentially at one of the tips. One of the tips which we have considered here is inlet tip. This is inlet or entry of a smooth curved vein as shown in figure. So far also, every time whenever we are deriving the equation, we have assumed that the plate is smooth. That means there will not be any friction or any loss at the entry, or while leaving the vein also, since the veins are smooth, there will not be any loss. The jet of water gliding over the inner surface of the vein will leave it tangentially at its other tip called as outlet tip. Entry known as inlet tip. That's all the difference. Let the tangent at the inlet tip make an angle theta. Here it is very clearly shown, theta, with the horizontal axis. So with respect to the horizontal, the jet making an angle theta. Is it clear? It is here. Same that at the outlet tip make an angle phi with the same axis, that is horizontal axis, phi here. It is not denoted for the angle which is marked red. No, it is interior angle here with respect to x-axis. When the water is leaving in this direction, this will be phi. Okay. The jet will therefore get deflected through an angle 180. Suppose if I take this is theta, this is phi. Okay. Then if I continue this line, What is this angle? That is marked as red there. I cannot show there. Everything will be mixed up. That's why I am trying to show here itself. The jet will therefore get deflected through an angle equal to 180 minus of theta plus phi. Barabar? 180 minus of theta plus phi. Let us go slowly, especially this particular article, because the summary or essence or the knowledge of these velocity triangles will be useful throughout FM2, whether it is centrifugal pump, whether it is Pelton wheel as a turbine, whether it is reciprocating turbine or Francis turbine or Kaplan turbine. Irrespective of those, we are using inlet and outlet velocity triangle, without which no numerical problems, no derivation can be done. That's why we will understand the concept of this construction of velocity triangles with various parameters. Very simple, very easy. Just at the beginning it finds to be very difficult because so many number of parameters, as you can see from this figure itself. Furthermore, parameters are to be included. For example, velocity of whirl, velocity of flow, relative velocity, absolute velocity, vane angles, jet angles, at inlet and at outlet. So many number of parameters. But it will be very simple after once you understand the concept at the beginning stage. That's why let us go slowly. Is it clear? Okay. Let me go to the next slide. Fine. No doubt here. Here itself you ask if at all you are having any doubt. I will give you 20 seconds. You think. Look at the figure. Whatever I have explained, you recall. If anybody have got doubt, you ask. No doubt? Fine. Let me adjust first this so that a little bit zoomed up condition we can see very clearly. Now I will take the pen so that it will not move here and there. Okay. Since in this case the vane is also moving, so far everything we have learnt with velocity u, here it is shown, velocity of u, it is shown here. When the vane is also moving, the effective velocity of the jet entering the vane will be equal to the relative velocity. We have learnt already in the previous slide so many classes with respect to the vane. That's why I am not going in detail. The jet strikes to the plate with relative velocity. We know it. This relative velocity of jet with respect to the plate velocity can be obtained by drawing velocity triangles or velocity vector diagram at inlet and outlet. So far also we have done that, but it was not too much because it was not unsymmetrical, it was symmetrical. Therefore, we did not find more about velocity vector diagram. Henceforth, when curved vanes are used, as it is being used in case of turbine centrifugal pumps, we are required to draw clearly inlet velocity triangle, that is at inlet, and outlet velocity triangle at outlet or exit, and we can find the various parameters depending upon vane angles and jet angles. Right? Jet angles will be alpha and beta, whereas vane angles are denoted by theta and phi at inlet and outlet respectively. That is inlet velocity triangle and outlet velocity triangle. Inlet velocity triangle, here this is inlet velocity triangle, this is outlet velocity triangle. Clear this slide? Fine. Next slide. Next slide. You see, now before I go further, I would like to make a mention here. Whatever the parameters with suffix 1 whatever the parameter we are saying, whether it is absolute velocity or velocity of flow or velocity of whirl or relative velocity, anything with suffix 1 means inlet. So all suffixes we use for various parameters, if we use 1 means they are with respect to inlet or entry parameters. If we use the suffix 2, as you can see on this slide, it represents those same parameters, absolute velocity, relative velocity, velocity of flow, velocity of whirl, or simply whirl velocity, etc., are pertain to the outlet velocity triangles, that is nothing but at exit, outlet. Is it clear? Fine. V1, V2 absolute velocity of the jet at the inlet and outlet respectively. U1, U2 peripheral velocities or velocity of plate or velocity of the vane at the inlet and outlet respectively. VR1, VR2 relative velocities at the inlet and outlet respectively. VF1, VF2 velocity of flow at the inlet and outlet respectively. VW1, VW2 velocity of the whirl at the inlet and outlet respectively. Tip angles theta and phi. Tip angles or vane angles or blade angles. All these three words are equivalent. Tip angles is nothing but equivalent to say vane angles are also equivalent to say blade angles. Okay? No difference. Just words are different in different books if you refer different authors' books. Alpha and beta angles which the absolute velocities make at the inlet and outlet respectively. Alpha with respect to inlet, beta with respect to outlet. You can see from this figure, this is outlet velocity triangle. Therefore, here you can see beta and phi angles. The magnified figure we will see in the next slide. Similarly, at inlet also you can see alpha and theta are the two angles. Theta is with respect to vane angle, alpha is with respect to the angle made by the absolute velocity with horizontal. Is it clear? Next slide. See, magnified figure I said. We will go to the magnified figure. Now I will explain each and every parameters here. You can see very clearly the figures, no doubt? Okay. This is the curved vane which is moving with velocity, u. Therefore, we are required to take the effective velocity exerted, effective velocity with which the force exerted on the vane, that is Vr. Whatever this relative velocity we are considering at inlet, it is denoted by VR1. The same if we want to say at outlet, just we have to write suffix 2. This is corresponding to the outlet or exit. This is corresponding to inlet or entry. Am I right? Okay. So every time I need not have to write for all the parameters like this on the screen. Wastage of energy and wastage of time. Well, if it is clear with single parameter, same thing. Okay? You are capable of understanding because you are at third year level also. Let me take pen so that this will not move to and fro or above and below. You see here very clearly now. V1 is the absolute velocity at inlet. The same is represented here, V2, after it glides over the vane and leaves the vane, that will be V2. U1 and U2 are the peripheral velocity at inlet and outlet respectively. Theta is the angle made by the vane with respect to horizontal axis, that is XX axis. Is it clear? Similarly, phi is the angle made with respect to the same x-axis at the outlet. That's why it is taken here, outlet. Therefore, angle of deflection is equal to Angle of deflection is equal to 180 minus of 180 minus of theta plus phi. Very correct. You are correct. That means with concentration you have listened to the teacher. Very fine. Now let me rub this so that the other things can be explained very clearly. Now V2 represents what? Absolute velocity at outlet. You should not forget to say outlet. When you are writing in the exam also, you may aware it is at outlet. U1 is at inlet. But how examiner will come to know that you are aware of it? That's why every time you have to write that. A fraction of second is lost. Hardly matter. Theta, angle, I have already explained. Now we will come to alpha. Alpha is the angle made by the absolute velocity V1 with respect to horizontal. With respect to horizontal, this is the angle. The corresponding angle at outlet will be beta with respect to horizontal. Clear? Now, VR1 is nothing but relative velocity or the effective velocity with which the force is exerted on this vane so that it is being moved with velocity u1. That's why this vector or triangle inlet velocity triangle in the form of vector diagram should be written from point u1. Can you see here very clearly? After we have measured velocity vector diagram u1, v1, vr1 should be written from that point. Similarly, from that point vr2 is to be written. That's why vr2 is coming here. vr1 is coming inside the triangle. Here vr2 is outside the triangle. If you practice and learn twice, thrice at home, I am confidently I can say you will also understand without any confusion, without any problem. To start with now, your feeling is I can understand because when I also started teaching this, because I learned it in around 1981, 1979 to 84 my course was. So third year when I come, by the time it was 1980, 81, 79, 80, 80, 81, 81, 82. So in the year 18, academic year 81, 82, I learned. And then I was not at all in touch up with all these articles, is it not? Because my subject is in MTech specialization, highway engineering. Even 0.2% I was not using in my life. So why should I unnecessarily remember each and everything? But concept of everything was clear because our professors also, our teachers also made our basics very clear. But still, in order to teach to the other people like you students, it is very difficult for us without pre-preparation, recalling all those FM1 concepts, FM2 concepts, which we had studied 35 years back. So, at that time, I was also feeling how I can teach this. Many times I have put forward this feeling with departmental head. Sir, I may not be able to teach this because I taught, I learned this in about 35 years ago. How it is possible? I will try, I will go through, definitely. If I feel that I can succeed, I will take. I said, but around 6 months I have studied like much more than a student for at least 12 to 14 hours in a day. That's why I could come out confidently that I can teach. So in the same way, now you are the student. That too you are at younger age. Our age is already almost over. Our retirement age. But yours is very fresh, young brain. So immediately you can grasp. Only thing is you have to practice it. You have to write these velocity triangles with the vector diagram by looking into the concepts. That means u1 after I draw, from u1 vr1. Similarly here after u2 vr2. That's why this is coming extreme line or at the boundary. This is inside the triangle, this is outside the one of the exterior side of the triangle. Beta will come in between, alpha will be here. So like that you yourself should murmur while writing by simultaneously looking through both the velocity triangles, then you will never come across mistake while writing in exam, or henceforth after you become engineer, or you may become also a teacher, then you also can teach very nicely to your students. I am more confident on you people. Our students are bright, but they have to put hard work. Okay, we will continue. After drawing these two velocity triangles, outlet velocity triangle, inlet velocity triangle with corresponding parameters by putting suffixes, now come to here. This also you have studied in engineering mechanics. Means these parameters you have not studied. The free body diagram. So in order to understand furthermore how we can get this component, how we can get this component Vf1, how we can get this component Vf2, how we can this total horizontal component. For that we have to take different body diagrams. So initially like this you can write and you can do this. After once you practice everything, you perfectly prepare for exam, even without writing these body diagram also, you can imagine that these lines are not there. I am using the free body diagram. It is not required. Marks will not be subtracted if you do not write the free body diagram in exam, because it is to start with beginning to understand the concepts we used to write separately as a teacher, and we will tell you and we will make you to understand. Is it clear? So from this figure it is very evident that relative velocity Vr1 we know is equal to jet velocity minus plate velocity. That is nothing but V1 multiplied by cos alpha minus u. That is the general formula. Now VW1 here, VW1 minus u1 from the velocity diagram. I will take the pen, otherwise it will keep on to and fro movement. So this horizontal component VW1 minus u1 is nothing but Vr1, relative velocity. So you are required to find out Vr2, that is VW2. VW2 is equal to V2 cos beta, whereas VW1 is equal to V1 cos alpha. You take this free body diagram where here V1, if you want I will show here itself, V1, this one, this triangle, V1 here means we are left with Vr1, this is VW1 total VW1. Okay, in between there is u, that we will see later. So with respect to the absolute velocity V1 with which the jet is striking the curved plate which is moving and unsymmetrical, this is alpha, this is V1. Therefore Vr1 you can calculate as V1 cos alpha, VW2 is equal to V2 cos beta. Similarly in this figure, that's all. In this figure ये उल्टा करके लिखा है इधर, the same one removed, that's why we call it as free body diagram. उल्टा किया है, that's all, nothing else. ऐसा देखने के बजाय उसको ही उल्टा किया है, इसको उल्टा किए तो ऐसा दिखता है, that's all. Okay, is it clear now? You have to practice at home in single time or two times, even if teacher writes free body diagram and explained. Momentarily you may feel that yes, it is very easy, but little difficult to acquaint with those. You have to practice it at home. Next slide. Force exerted by the jet. Force exerted by the jet. Okay, now inlet velocity triangle and outlet velocity triangles are written very clearly as it was before. That was magnified. This is a little bit non-magnified, that's all. If vanes are smooth, always we have to assume while deriving, even in numerical problem also, if the vanes are not smooth, then we have to take Vr1 is equal to K multiplied by something. Whatever the equation we get for Vr1, we have to multiply it by coefficient K. So that factor will take care the non-smoothness. If it is smooth, VR1 is equal to VR2, U1 is equal to U2. That means whatever the velocity with which it was striking the blade, while leaving also with the same velocity it leaves the vein after it is glided over the vein. That is the meaning of smooth. U1 is equal to U2 is equal to U. Relative velocity at inlet and outlet when the plates are smooth, they are equal. VR1 is equal to VR2. If not, VR1 is equal to VR2 is equal to K multiplied by VR1. So if K value is given as 0.9 or 0.89 or 0.95, you have to multiply it. Means little lesser, there will be some loss. That is the overall meaning. If the plates are not smooth, there will be more friction. Because of that, certain loss takes place during the flow of fluid when it is striking the blade and gliding over the vein. That is the meaning. So in order to take care of those, we have to assume or without assuming as it is in the practical cases. When we are deriving the formula, if if certain assumptions are not made, the formula will become more clumsy. That is the reason why we will always assume. Now, mass of water strikes to the plate per second. Mass per second is equal to rho q, we know. Mass per second is equal to rho a into velocity of strike, that is striking velocity is nothing but effective velocity or also known as relative velocity. Therefore, mass per second will be equal to rho multiplied by small a multiplied by VR1. What is your a? What is a? Since 2 classes I am not saying about it because it is very simple, and if I say, you people will laugh at me. That's why I did not say. For fun, I am asking you, what is A? Yes, fine, you are correct. It is area of the jet. How you will find out? By knowing the? Yes, you are correct. Diameter of the jet. Okay, fine. That means you have not forgotten. Thank you. Therefore, force acting in the x direction, force acting in the x direction, force acting, why it is, okay. Force acting in the x direction, this force can be computed using impulse momentum principle. We know it. Rate of change of momentum in x direction, that is equal to initial momentum per second minus final momentum per second. Therefore, Fx in x direction is equal to mass per second multiplied by whole multiplied by initial velocity minus final velocity. Initial velocity in x direction is equal to VR1 cos theta, we have seen. Final velocity in x direction minus VR2 cos phi. Why? Because it is in the opposite direction. It is in the opposite direction. Can you see? Yes. So in that way you have to understand at each and every stage slowly to beginning with. Then there will not be any confusion henceforth either in theory or in any other topic like turbine, centrifugal pump, etc. when we are dealing with the velocity triangles. This is most important at the beginning. And then even while solving numerical problem also, you will not be troubled yourself because you are learning very clearly the basic concepts. Am I right? Yes. Next slide. Okay. Therefore, Fx is equal to rho a VR1 whole multiplied by VR1 cos theta minus of minus VR2 cos phi. That's why always I used to say while writing the equations with signs. Signs. What is the spelling of sign here? Should be understood. SIGN. What is SINE sign? That is with respect to sine, cosine, tan, angles. Here SIGN sign is minus or plus. Okay? That's why while writing, when you are preparing the technical paper for technical presentation, in order to get prize, there itself you will come across these things. Suppose you are typing everything very neatly, you have delivered the presentation so nicely that judges have admired, and 3 students have taken same marks during the presentation, technical paper presentation for the first prize. 3 students. How to filter then? Everything is fine. Presentation is fine. question and answer session went very smoothly and very correctly by the participants. Judges have given same marks for 3 students. Then for all the 3, prize cannot be declared. Then how declared? Then this matter comes. In that hard copy, how many mistakes students, that is participants, have committed, whether they have overcome those, because the dictionary will have SINE sign and as well as SIGN sign words. How computer knows that you want SIGN here or SINE here? Just I am giving an example with this word. Likewise, there are so many English words are there. That's why you must be very careful while preparing the hard copy of the presentation. Hard copy of the presentation. Thereby, they will filter. Oh, this particular candidate has made many mistakes. He has not at all seen. Simply has put for a spelling check. Dictionary, since it had both, whatever he has written, it is correct. करके गया पुढे, ये भी पुढे गेला, अभी हम इनको मागे पाठवायचा असा. You may lose the prize. That's why be careful. Every time I will not say once in one semester. Means when I am teaching subject, at least once, twice. At the end also I will say, because by the end of the semester usually these technical paper presentations and all will go. You have to prepare the seminar report. You have to prepare the project report in the next year, final year. Is it not? This is also equally important. It is the utilization of the time so as to make our student all around development simultaneously while teaching. Simply bookworm हुआ तो कुछ फायदा नहीं. That too in this present scenario. That too in the worst present scenario is what? Yes, you are right. Pandemic Corona-19, COVID-19. Fine. We will stop here. We will continue in the next class, please. Thank you very much for patient listening and understanding the velocity triangles. Inlet velocity triangle, outlet velocity triangle. Am I right? Inlet velocity triangle, outlet velocity triangle. How it can be constructed. Almost we are coming to an end of this article. Okay? Just we have to find out the force, effects, and then we have to find out the work done per second, then work done per mass per second. Means if you consider the total weight of the fluid per second, what is the formula? How it can be derived? What are the 3 conditions? That we will come across. If beta is less than 90, beta greater than 90, when beta is equal to 90. So all these 3 cases with which force exerted, mass per, that is work done per second or work done per mass per second, and ultimately, what? Ultimately, yes, you know, efficiency. Efficiency we'll find out in the next class. Okay?